Hey there, guys. It's Mia here. I am so excited. I am so excited about this live topic today. What I'm going to teach on over the next couple of minutes is really going to support you. I just want to make sure everybody can see this. It's a community message. Is the power of choosing yourself. Yep. The power of you choosing yourself all the time, 100%, because you deserve that. There were just a couple things that were on my heart, my mind today that when I started thinking about my entrepreneurial journey or the journeys of the women that I've supported over the years, the one thing that I can say is that the women who have been the most successful always renewed their promises to themselves. And that's what I want to talk about today. I wrote a couple of notes, so I want to refer to those things. And, the thing is that I've been thinking about this a lot, choosing yourself. We talk about it often, but most women don't realize that choosing yourself isn't like a one-time decision, right? It's a practice. It's like something that we do over and over and over and over again, especially, as it relates to different changes in our life or even things that have made us afraid, like maybe reaching for a big dream or a goal that you have, right? And sometimes when you deal with fear, specifically, something that makes you feel like you want to shrink or retreat, you forget who you really are. And I want to talk about that today, the importance of choosing yourself. For me, and I've talked about this over the years, guys, that when I started my business 20 years ago, I thought that choosing myself meant like doing what I love to do, right? Like starting that business. But over the years, I have learned that it also means that choosing time to rest, choosing time to rebuild, choosing time to reimagine, even choosing time really for myself to believe again. And so let me tell you what I mean. I remember that I had a very defined way of thinking about what entrepreneurship was for me. And for me, I thought, okay, I'm starting this business, I'm a coach, I'm coaching moms, and there was this idea of what I thought that was. Like, me coaching these women, I wasn't necessarily thinking about doing corporate deals. I wasn't necessarily thinking about, doing television on nationally syndicated shows as the mom strategist. And each and every time I reimagined or reached bigger and accepted that, I could see myself in a completely different way. I could see that where I was up until that point prepared me for that next step. And, I want to invite you to think about, I'm sharing my story, but I want you to think about your story, okay? And I want you to check in, right? Like one of the questions that I've always asked myself is how, or maybe for you it would be, how often do you make powerful decisions for everyone else, but you delay the ones that would change your life? As a mom of three amazing individuals, one of the things that I committed to as part of me choosing myself was just like I'd make a powerful decision for each and every one of my kids, choosing, the best schools for them or the best products or that, I would use on their body or their skin or the best foods, the most organic and fresh produce and things like that. It's just like I would choose for them and be meticulous around sewing into them or what I would expose them to, I also decided I would choose powerfully for myself. And many of you have been on this journey with me, and so some of you might have younger children, but many of you may also have what I call the grown and flown, right? That demographic of children. And we are still in this state of choosing powerfully for our children, right? As the consultant in their lives. But are you really being that for yourself, right? And I think it's a very important question to ask yourself, particularly this time of the year, because I see so many women who are, I would say, settling with their story inside of them, settling around the bigness, the thing that they do that's great, because maybe they were moving in the direction of the change they wanted. Life got in the way. They started doing something else, or life called them in another way, or maybe their parents needed them, in some way. And in some way they never quite got back to choosing powerfully for themselves. And that's why I want to do this quick community message, because I know that that is for some of you, and some it might not even apply to how other people or other situations have derailed you from you. It could even be that maybe what you've been doing in your business, like there's been shifts, there have been changes, or maybe there's been some component of your business that you used to understand and now you don't understand it that way, so you're not doing business the same way. It might be that you need to show up more powerfully as yourself. Like, and I say this because I was talking to someone recently, and one of the things that she said to me, this particular client of mine, was she was talking about how the market was changing, and she was really talking about all of the things that we see, like, in the news or on social media around the fear, the shock, all of that. And she was talking about how she had to basically play a smaller version of herself in order for her to reach her goals, or maybe just settle on the goals that she had, change her prices or change who she's marketing to, etc. And, one of the things that I said is, like, the idea isn't for you to embrace those things, but instead to be thinking about why the market needs you right now because of what's going on. And maybe that's the kind of question that you need to be asking yourself if your business isn't where it needs to be. I think for myself, I always ask myself, when I was at my highest and tallest, what was I doing? Who was I doing it with? Who was I working with, right? Like, so that I can pull back for myself a system that works. And because life is a system, right? Maybe a question that you could ask yourself even is like, when was the last time you made a choice that wasn't convenient for others, but it was necessary in order for you to hit your next level? Like, think about it. Like, sometimes the choices that we have to make, they aren't convenient for anybody else. Maybe the time of it, maybe the investment of what it is. I hear a lot, because I work with women mostly that have families, right? And they almost always feel like, or state in their language, like, I would do this for myself, but I have to make sure that ... you fill in the blank. Usually that means I got to make sure that the kids' tuition I've got to make sure that, that this works for my partner, my spouse, right? I've got to make sure that everything else in life goes first, and then I'll make room for me. And I think a lot of women would agree with me to say that that's not the most powerful decision making. A lot of times when you understand that your family's the benefactor of the success that you create, that's how I've looked at it over the years. Like, I knew that if I could get myself free, like, if I could get me free, okay, full time, and I could be full time for my family, they would be the benefactors of all of the growth, all of the investments that I made within myself. And I hope this is speaking to somebody right now, because a lot of times we look at things from sometimes a very, very small space. And because we're looking at it from what we're taking away, or what, us feeling selfish for investing some of the family budget in ourselves, not understanding, like, listen, you are the person that thinks the most about every single person in your life. And if you grow, if you do what you need to do for you, everybody's going to rise because of it. And I know that's true for me. I look at the tuition payments, right? Like, I'm like, well, listen, okay, literally, okay, my family has been the benefactors, okay? Are you waiting for the perfect timing or permission that's never coming? This is the excuse, the yakety yak, right, I call it, that I hear all the time. Like, well, in 3 months, in 1 month, in 2 weeks, listen, when we are looking to choose powerfully for ourselves, we understand that the time is now. The mere fact that I'm having a thought that I know I need to grow and I want to hit this, whatever this number is, 6 figures for whatever reason or more in my life. The reason that I want to control my time, it's a right now problem. It's not one of those things. And we fool ourselves with the illusion of like acting like we're so, concerned about our next level and the results that we want. But we don't take the action because we're either looking for permission. That's never coming. No one's going to give you permission to rise or to be the the highest version of yourself, right? Like nobody even really knows that for you, and or the perfect timing, which doesn't exist. When I think about the number of women who I've been able to help over the years, who have known me for years, watched me on the lives for years, right? And watched me grow my business, watch me grow the brand, watch me coach hundreds of people, watch me, just do it. And all along the way, they were looking for the perfect timing. 1 year goes by, 2 years goes by, 3 years goes by, etc. Right? I've had people even as long as 10 years who've come back. And I love that. People who have seen me and not decided to engage me make that decision. But what I'm telling you is like, what if, and they create amazing results, but think about all the time wasted. All the time wasted. Like, watching something, thinking about it, thinking you're going to get ready, looking at all of these things that aren't there to serve your highest good, and not having somebody in your life, in your world, to call you out around the BS that you tell yourself. Like, I'm waiting. But really, maybe you're not waiting. Maybe you are afraid of what the next level looks like. And sometimes we're afraid of what it looks like. And so we have all of these excuses. I don't have the money. I don't have the time. I don't have the energy. But staying where you are, is that where you want to be? Come on. And I get real emotional about it because the work that I do is, yes, it is on the business side, but I do a lot of holding the mirror for my clients so that they understand, that you understand, okay, who you are. Well, you understand that time is an asset, that everything you don't step into, the version of you that you have not committed to, you're robbing the people who have been waiting for you, the people who need to see you do what you're doing because it says, wow, that's possible. I always said choosing yourself is how you honor the life that God's been trying to open for you. And a lot of us, right, like we're choosing small, and we know we are, but we don't get to create the impact with the gifts that we have because God's given you incredible gifts and they're not yours. And sometimes we treat the talents, the skills, as if it's ours. It's not. Everything that I have, I can promise you, it is God has given me the gifts. I'm grateful that I have the ability to call women out who are called to greater things with their gifts and their talents. And what I recognize is that over the years, the hundreds of women that I've been able to personally coach and mentor, that, I was looking the other day, and it's literally like, always say hundreds, but it's like over 1,000 women that I've had the opportunity personally to coach and watch their lives change. I've watched women go from making, $25,000 a year to six figures, or $40,000 a year to $500,000, or no money at all to building a multi-million-dollar business and brand, right? All from changing their beliefs, all from calling them out and saying, look, you need to take a stand and show up and be the tallest and highest version of yourself. And I know I sound strong when I talk about it. I'm very passionate about it because I know that you're meant for more, and you know that you were meant for more. And every time I choose myself again, when I raise my prices, when I rebuild after betrayal, when I decided to go live again, when something powerful in my life happens, I didn't just make a decision. I made a life alignment decision. And each time I did, I got freer and freer. My confidence grew even louder, and my results followed. And the same is true for you. Choosing yourself, right? It opens you up to live a life you're not currently living. And a lot of us are living lives where we're incongruent, quite frankly. I'm going to just tell you, it's incongruent. On one hand, you have this big and powerful talent and skill and all of it, and you're just keeping it for yourself. You're playing a smaller version. I was writing a couple of clients recently, and this is an interesting exercise, and I may write you too. I was writing a couple of clients recently who I really adored working with. I come across some videos of them from my last master class, and I sent it to them and with a note. And I would say maybe 60% of those individuals wrote me back and they were like, wow, like that was me at, like excited about what I'm doing and at the tallest vision and version of who I am. And then there's this segment that say nothing. And they say nothing because they are so separated from that girl and how they saw themselves in their dream that, you know what I mean? It renders you speechless. And what I'm telling you is, look, the truth is you can't build a time-rich life or a profitable business from a place of waiting. And let me just repeat that, okay? You cannot build a time-rich life, okay, or a profitable business from a place of waiting. Readiness happens in the moment you say yes to yourself. And if you're that person who's been saying no to yourself, you're always on pause, you're too busy to sit down and get clear about what really matters, right? To honor your commitments, to show up like the giant you are, you have an expectation that someone's supposed to invite you. You're looking for an invitation to be great. Come on. This is not what this is about. It's about choosing yourself and honoring the gifts that are on you, the calling that's on you, and to stop running from that giftedness, right? And here's the thing. I want to remind you to choose yourself again. And, choose yourself in your health. Yeah, your health is your wealth. Your health is your wealth. And choose yourself in your boundaries, right? Like so many people don't have boundaries around their money, around their time, around their energy. Maybe you're surrounded with people who they don't want much. And if they don't want much for themselves, they don't want much for you. Okay? I'm just saying, okay? Choose yourself in your dreams. Maybe you've got dreams for every single person in your life, in your world, but you don't have dreams for you. Like, think about it. Do you have dreams for you? And what are they? Because every time you do, you give your children, your clients, and the people who love you permission to do the same. There are so many people out here who are waiting on you to rise. And I want to have this conversation because I already know everybody here in this community, no one in this community got here because I put you here. You came here because you applied to be in this community with a short application. You are working with me in some way, have worked with me, were enrolled in some kind of class, did some kind of consulting with me, maybe a VIP day or something like that. Been a part of my webinar, been a part of some online training that I offer. That's why you're here, okay? Nobody got here because I added your name here. And my question is, when you came here clearly for a reason. You came here to accomplish something. And now my question to you is, are you still doing that? Okay? And if you're not, come on, it's time. And if this message hits home for you, let me know either in the comments, in the DMs. I love to hear what's resonating for you. And if you're in a season where you're ready to do something about it, right? To finally move on that idea or that business that's been sitting inside of you. If that's you, stay close, okay? Because I'm here for you. I want you to know that. And I have started a new mastermind for women who are interested in accountability, but also they want to know how to build their business alongside their life. And they want to find that alignment and that congruency. If that's you, you're looking for something, reach out. And if you are looking for, maybe you want some private time with me and you want to do like a VIP day or private consulting, had a couple calls today, reach out and learn what your options are. But this idea of being here and watching passively, I see you guys watching passively, say, what's Mia saying today? Okay, come on. This is not serving any single person. I want you to be the example in this community. I want you to be a person that's not just drafting what's here and taking, but I want you to be a giver. And the giver in this community is a person that's able to show up, add value, state what it is that they're doing in as it relates to changing their business and their life so that it lights a fire for another. That's what I'm into. All right. That's what a giant does, in my opinion. And the truth of the matter is that a lot of times, what we need more than anything is advisement, like strategy. I call it strategic advisement on how to show up as the highest and tallest version of you. How, if you're not being accountable to yourself, then hire the accountability you need. That's what I did. That's what my personal trainer, okay, like it's all about that. He makes me do things that by myself, up until now, I don't do, okay? Like there are just some things I just would not do. Planks is not something that in my free time, I'm like, let me just plank for 3 minutes. I'm not, no. But because I need that level of accountability and I recognize that he's of value for my health, I'm not waiting for permission. I'm not waiting for the right time. Time is now. Listen, I've got to get this belly down, right? I've got to get myself stronger as I get older. And it's a desire I have to be the best and highest version of myself. I don't need to survey people in my world to figure out what I need. And if I do, I need to get my head right. I work every single day, as many of you guys do, and I can own what I need, and I can state what I need, and I can receive what I need, and claim what I need. So this idea of us using other people as a shield for us not to move forward, it's not real. I'm speaking from my heart. And I hope that as a result of what I'm sharing with you today, from my heart to you, that it'll call you out and it'll call you to move. My wish for you is that this upcoming year, you have the team that you need, the support that you need, the mentor that you need, that will not only talk to you about your packaging and your pricing and your positioning and finding buy, but will call you to the highest and tallest version of yourself, who will not allow you to play small when it's something bigger for you. And let me just talk about that for a second. I'm on fire right now. Y'all know how I get. Over the years, that's the mastery of my coaching. Certainly, I can support any of my clients in packaging what they do at the highest level. But one of the things that I do the most is I help them see things that they would not ordinarily see as possible for them in their business and in their life. And that's very valuable for someone to be able to show you what you do not see. Let's be clear, today's time, you can get on ChatGPT, become best friends with ChatGPT, and create the course of a lifetime, but it doesn't mean it will sell. Because ultimately what will happen is if someone wants to work with you, they want to work with you. They're not going to want to work with a computer-generated version of what something sounds like. They want to work with who you are. So the more connected you are to who you are, the more you build out value-based programs at the highest and tallest level of who you are, the more you get called out to those things, the more resonance is going to happen as it relates to working with people. As simple as that. And I say this because coaching today for me is so interesting. I'll ask clients, show me, give me a sample of whatever it is, and I'm reviewing what it is. And I'm like, if I read another chat GPT version of what this has created, right, and I don't see you present in it, how are you expecting to sell something at the highest and tallest level when you're not showing up at your highest and tallest level? These tools are to supplement and complement your being, not to replace you. And I don't know who that supports, but I know it supports somebody out there, because for me, when I'm looking at send me what you're working on, and I see someone, not your highest and tallest version, I see Chat GPT's version of its limitations around that. It's a great tool using AI, and I use AI, but I always show up 100% of me. And what I recognize is that what my clients need more than anything is me, and what your clients need more than anything is you. And that's very important for you to understand. Are we clear? Is this making sense? I hope that this really supports you. Like today, I wanted to come on and talk about choosing yourself and why and how choosing yourself can make all the difference. And definitely, if you felt like I punched you today, good. because you probably needed that punch. And if you didn't, it's probably because you have chosen yourself and you're showing up as the highest version of yourself. And for those of you who know that you, for 2026, it's got to be different, and you want to understand what the options are, reach out. DM me. I'd love to talk to you, and we can see what, how I can help you. And I know I can help you. And sometimes that's the greatest support that you need, is to stop trying to, tell yourself that it's not the right time, or you're looking for permission. You're surveying people who don't dream big. Anyway, I hope that this has supported you guys in tremendous ways. This is my private community message for the week, and my only goal was to support you by literally just calling you out. And you know my heart, y'all know where I come from, and I know what your capacity is. I've seen it, okay? I've helped you with it, okay? You're only here because there was something you saw in what I've shared over the years in my work that's resonated with you. And let me just tell you, it's not just that. It's even deeper than that, because from that time in which we met, there's been so much personal growth in you, right, as well as in me. And you get to have all of what that looks like, okay? I don't care what has worked, what didn't work, there's always more, right, for you. And my goal is to get you free and help you stay free and build a model that you're really, really happy with, right? So, and that they'll allow you to be with your family in the ways that are unimaginable. I love you, okay? I look forward to seeing your DMs or your comments here. This was a tough live, but it was important because I love you. And if you are here in this community and this resonated, I'd love to see your comment, okay? Algorithm loves comments, all right? I love you. Have a great day. Bye.